What should the New York Jets do with their two top 10 picks in next month's NFL draft? That is the topic of today's video. Let's get right into it. New York Jets have some record-breaking draft capital to work with this offseason. 2 picks in the top 10, 2 picks in the early second round, a third rounder, 2 fourth rounders, and 2 fifth round picks. If you want to check out a mock draft where I go through all those picks, you can check that out in the description below. However, for this video, let's talk about picks number 4 and 10 overall. I gave it an analogy in another video, and I think it really holds up. I think as fans, we need to adjust our mindset with these 2 picks. Instead of treating them like 2 completely separate entities, here's at 4, you can only do this at 4. That's not good enough value at 4. Can't take him at 4. Same thing with number 10. Now, let's think if you and the wife, the girlfriend, right, you both needed new cars. Would you go to the car dealership and say, hey, I have $40,000 to spend, you have $28,000 to spend, let's just go get the best car, the best value that we can with each of our allotted money and not talk to each other? Probably not. You would probably say, okay, we have a combined $68,000 to spend to make 2 investments that complement each other. And that should be the mindset. Like, what 2 investments can we come away with that really complement each other as one move, and what we did in free agency. Now, I really think that the Jets should lean heavily into free agency. I think they should bring in a number 1 wide receiver. The market to do so is dwindling, with Amari Cooper going to the Browns, a bunch of tight ends getting tagged, and wide receivers also getting tagged as well. Mike Williams getting re-signed. But my free agent wish list now would probably look something like Allen Robinson, and maybe overpaying for Zach Ertz on a 1 or 2 year deal, upgrading at right guard, bringing in another running back, and re-signing Braxton Berrios. That's going to cost some significant money to do that. And then I think we can work on upgrading the NFL's 32nd ranked defense with our draft picks and have some growing pains on the defensive side of the ball, but spending some money to put proven professionals around Zach Wilson so we can adequately assess whether or not he is our franchise quarterback. So I'm really leaning towards defense with picks number 4 and 10. Number 4 is an easy one for me. That's going to be Ahmad Sauce Gardner. We know he's going to be there at 4. We're highly confident he's going to be there at 4. I can't see him going in the top 3. You'd like him better at 10, but there's no guarantee he's going to be there. Atlanta might take him. Seattle, if they don't trade that pick for a quarterback, they need help in the secondary. And I've seen him mocked as high as 7 to the Giants. So let's go ahead and take him at 4. He's our cornerback number 1. Bryce Hall becomes cornerback number 2. A legitimate shutdown corner will change what we're able to do defensively so much. We're going to get more sacks because quarterbacks will have to hold the ball longer. We'll be able to generate turnovers. And then your cornerback room really shuffles nicely into place. Bryce Hall, CB2, Michael Carter in the slot. I think the corners we had last year did a really good job based on where they were drafted, but they were all playing probably 1 spot on the depth chart higher than we'd want them to. This pick solves that completely. Now, looking at pick 10. Wide receiver has been popular here. So is corner, but we already just took a corner. Kyle Hamilton probably gone. I honestly don't know if I would have loved that at 10 either. Definitely not at 4, but I could have lived with Kyle Hamilton at 10. I'm hoping we got a number 1 wide receiver in free agency, so now I'm looking edge. We need to come away with an upgraded pass rush. And there's a second tier of edge rushers behind Thibodeaux and Hutchinson. 3 guys that I think could be worthy of a top 10 pick. That's George Karlaftis is one of them. Jermaine Johnson, a lot of people really like him. But for me, the guy here would be Travon Walker, edge from Georgia. 6'5", 272, 4'5", 40. Those are Julius Peppers, Jadeveon Clowney level measurables. And I think he's going to be a guy who can come in, give you 8 to 10 sacks, and be really consistent, really good against the run. He's long, he's athletic, he's durable, and I think that could be the pick. And I know, you're going to want to come away with an edge rusher who's going to be a 15 sack a year guy in the top 10, but that's just not how all drafts work out. Not every draft is created equal. I mean, there's no Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa, Chase Young in this draft, and if they were, those guys all go within the top 2 or 3 picks. So a really, really rock solid edge rusher who's going to give us more sacks than anybody that we have currently on our roster this year, I'm okay with that. with the 10th overall pick. So that's where I'm leaning. I'm really leaning towards Ahmad Sauce Gardner. And then one of those edge rushers from the second tier. I like George Karlaftis and Travon Walker better than Jermaine Johnson, but I'll trust Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh's eyes on that one. If we trade down, that's a whole different story. If you trade down to the teens or to 20, then some linebackers or offensive linemen would come into play there. That's my mindset for the first 2 picks for the New York Jets in the 2022 NFL Draft. Again, if you want to see where I go with all of our picks in all 5 rounds, you can check that out by clicking somewhere up here. Thank you for watching, and go Jets.